What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Dimensions news update. Now, obviously, this is the trailer analysis for the voice cast trailer, and I'm extremely impressed by the amount of voice talent in this game. I mean, it's absolutely jaw-dropping, to say the least. I just don't know how they got this many people, but it's brilliant because it really shows to you that LEGO Dimensions is something special. You know, we've had so many LEGO games over the years, you know, pretty much all of them have been amazing in their own way, but this is something different, but it's also celebrating why we love the LEGO games so much, and it's just really cool. And honestly, you know, we are so close to release date now. I believe it's like, what, 2 weeks or something? And I honestly just cannot wait to finally play this amazing game. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first off we're going to be talking about the actual voice cast, and then we'll move on to what I actually saw in the trailer. Now I do want to apologise because this video was supposed to be out yesterday, but I've been running into a few problems and I haven't really had time to finish the video because I've been busy with some things, but finally I can do it, so that's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say who's playing who, and then at the end I'll say, you know, how excited I am about it. So we've got Joel McHale as Expo, then we have Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, Gary Oldman as Lord Vortek, Chris Pratt, who is playing Emmett and Owen, Elizabeth Banks, who's playing Wildstyle, Alison Brie, who's playing Unikitty, Bryce Dallas Howard, who is of course playing Claire, Laura Bailey is playing Wonder Woman, Matthew Lillard is playing Shaggy, Tom Kane is Gandalf, Charlie Day is Benny, J.K. Simmons is Cave Johnson, Tara Strong is Harley Quinn, Jenna Coleman is Clara Oswald, Michelle Gomez is Missy, Ellen McLean is GLaDOS, Stephen Merchant is Wheatley, Nick Robinson is Zack, Ty Simpkins is Grey, Travis Willingham is Superman, Nolan North is Space Corps and possibly more because, you know, Nolan North does so many voices. Ivan Khan is Simon Masrani. Sean Astin is Samwise Gamgee. Troy Baker is Batman. And Peter Capaldi is, of course, the Doctor. Now, that's not it, actually. That is the voice cast. And there's more we don't know about yet, which is great. But we also have the archive audio. So just in case you don't know, we got William Hartnell as the first Doctor. Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor. John Pertwee as the third Doctor. Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor, Peter Davison as the fifth Doctor, Colin Baker as the sixth Doctor, Sylvester McCoy as the seventh Doctor, Paul McGann as the eighth Doctor, John Hurt as the War Doctor, Christopher Eccleston as the ninth Doctor, David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, and Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. And as I already said, Peter Capaldi has reprised his role as the 12th Doctor, which is great, unless you count the War Doctor, which is the 13th. But anyway, so yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic list of actors and actresses. I'm completely blown away by it. One thing that just completely took my eye was Michael J. Fox is back as Marty McFly. That man is absolutely incredible in every sense of the word. He really is. And you know, to think that he actually came back and played this role for this video game is just amazing, because when you're playing as Marty and you're walking around Hill Valley and you're using his hoverboard or driving the DeLorean, this isn't some, you know, wannabe Marty McFly or anything like that. Not saying that, you know, a wannabe Marty McFly would be bad, because there are some brilliant Marty McFly impersonators out there, but the fact that you get to play as Marty McFly and hear the voice that you grew up with, Michael J. Fox, that is just sensational. You know, that is really incredible. And then, you know, of course you've got Gary Oldman as the villain. That is amazing. If you know Gary Oldman, you'll know he's an absolutely brilliant actor. I loved him as Commissioner Gordon in the Dark Knight series, so to see him as a villain is awesome. And when I first heard Lord Vortek's voice, I thought, who is that? I couldn't work it out, you know, I couldn't figure out who was actually voicing Lord Vortek. But now when you hear it, you know, it still just shows you how good of a voice actor Gary Oldman is. But when you listen, you can just hear a little bit of Gary Oldman now, which is great. And of course, you know, you've got so many other crazy announcements. You've got Chris Pratt coming back as Emmett and Owen, which is great. You've got Elizabeth Banks as Wildstyle. There's just so many. And I'm really impressed by the amount of characters from Jurassic World that are coming back. You know, you've got Claire, you've got Zack and Grey. That's really cool. So it sounds like on the Jurassic World Adventure World, we'll actually be re-meeting, you know, some of the characters from the movie, and they'll probably be giving us quests and all that good stuff, and possibly maybe even be playable further down the line. So that is really cool. So personally, for me, the voice cast gets an absolutely massive thumbs up. Alright, so one of the things that everybody noticed in this trailer, which was just so cool to see, was the return of all the Ghostbusters. This is really awesome to see because, we've already seen Peter Venkman and it's great to see that he's playable, but it's also nice to see that we're going to see them in the main story and maybe even the level pack as well. Personally, I would love to see, the way, how with Doctor Who, in the Doctor Who content, you can regenerate into all the different Doctors when you die, or you can change in the TARDIS. That's great, but it'd be so cool if you could maybe go into the Firehouse, the Ghostbusters HQ, and then switch out the Ghostbusters, because, if they released other Ghostbusters, it would just be the same character with different animations. So it would be nicer to be able to just switch between them all. Personally, I would love to play as Egon. That would be so awesome. And of course, here we can see Egon, we can see Winston, we can see Ray, and of course we can see Venkman. We can see all the Ghostbusters here, which is really cool. And this scene that we see in the trailer is very reminiscent of Ghostbusters 2. So I wasn't thinking they were going to actually add Ghostbusters 2 content. I thought they would strictly base it on Ghostbusters 1. But it's nice to see they had that little thing in there. And who knows, maybe the level pack is kind of Ghostbusters 1 and 2 together. What I've heard from the Back to the Future content, which I think I've already mentioned, is that it's Back to the Future 1 through 3, but molded into 1, for the level pack. So it'd be cool if Ghostbusters level pack is 1 and 2 molded into 1, so that'd be nice. But yeah, it's really cool to see the Ghostbusters in this video game, and I do hope, there's some way to play as them all eventually, because they all look so good, and it would just be such a shame to waste them just as a cameo, if you know what I mean. And who knows, maybe Bill Murray is back to voice Peter Venkman in the game, because they did say that not every voice actor was revealed in the trailer, so that is definitely exciting. Now, obviously, this part of the trailer highlights that Chris Pratt is yet again in another LEGO game, and that is awesome because, well, Chris Pratt is awesome, and he's coming back as, of course, Emmett from the LEGO movie and Owen Grady from Jurassic World, so that is great. But two things I noticed here is, one, well, not in the video, but actually something I need to mention, is, one, we can see here that Owen actually has a tranquilizer gun, which is really cool because if I remember correctly from LEGO Jurassic World, the game, he didn't actually have one, so it's nice to see that we might actually be able to use that in-game. Now then, if you look on Amazon.com, you can actually see a description of some of the characters, that are in the game and what they can actually do. And some of the abilities that it lists for Owen are pretty cool. You got tracking, you got stealth, target, and vine cut abilities. Now, the reason I think that gun, the tranquilizer gun, isn't actually just a thing he pops out when he's idle, is because it mentions targeting. And obviously, if he's going to target something, he's going to use the tranquilizer gun. So he sounds like quite a useful character, because I was interested to see, how Owen would kind of work in all of this. But it's nice to see that he'll have quite a few abilities. And we haven't seen anything from the adventure world or the actual story mission of when we're actually going to go into the Jurassic World, dimension in the main story. But I think we'll hopefully see that soon, or if not, maybe they'll want to keep it a surprise. Because basically, I think there's 14 missions in total, and each mission is based on one of the brands in the game. And there are 14 brands in LEGO Dimensions, so one story mission for each. And then, of course, you've got the level packs, where you can increase that even more. So if you enjoyed the Back to the Future mission, you could go get the level pack and get Marty, the DeLorean, the hoverboard, and a whole new level, plus access to a whole new open world Hill Valley, which is just amazing. Now, this is a cool part in the trailer because we can hear, of course, Alison Brie talking about how Unikitty and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man kind of work like a good team, they'd be a good team together. And when I was watching this, I was thinking, what? And then you start seeing Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking around Cloud Cuckoo Land with Unikitty. And I've got to say, he belongs there. It actually looks like he kind of lives there. I can't wait to walk around Cloud Cuckoo Land as a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But anyway, one thing I wanted to mention, which I screenshotted of the trailer, is here we can see that Unikitty still has her Rage Kitty mode. She can go insane and mental and just destroy everything in sight, which I loved in the LEGO Movie game, and of course was hilarious in the LEGO Movie. Now then, what's also awesome about this is we can see Stay Puft Marshmallow Man does the same. He can actually increase his size, and you can walk around stamping on everything. I mean, that is super cool. I'm really glad to see that, because it means you can play as a mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and also a giant one. So you can walk through New York and hopefully, smash cars and all that stuff. I'm not sure how tall you can get, because obviously you can see here, he's not super tall. He's around the same size as Unikitty, but to be able to actually increase his size as that character is just awesome. I just thought this was really cool. We can see here Unikitty and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man taking on some orcs from Middle-earth, but I believe they're actually in Metropolis here. And you can just see Stay Puft Marshmallow Man about to do a belly flop on them pretty much. I mean, he looks to have some pretty hilarious moves, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing as him. And here's a great example of the amount of chaos you'll be able to spread with, of course, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You can see here he stamps on the orc and just absolutely destroys him. So I hope I can go in New York and just go up to a car and just destroy it, and then go and destroy all the enemies and things like that, because he just looks like such a fun character to play as. And through most of the trailer, you know, you see Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and he's smiling all the time, but here we can actually see he's quite angry when he's taking on the enemies. So maybe he's protecting Unikitty or something like that. I also like how in the trailer, when you're watching Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walk around, I like how there's bits of marshmallow coming off his feet when he walks. I just think that's little bits of detail like that. They always make a game for me. It's always nice to see little bits of detail. And of course, TT Games is no stranger to that. They always like to fill in the little details in their games. Now, I know we've done this before, and I've talked so much about the Doctor Who content, but come on, it showed it again. I have to show you. You've got all 13 incarnations of the Doctor. One thing I couldn't get right, though, was in the beginning of the trailer, you see the third Doctor, which is, of course, John Pertwee, but we see that when it zooms in, it kind of cuts him off, which is a bit of a shame, but he's there. You can see his hand on the very far left. But yeah, you got all the Doctors here. They're all playable. They're all voiced with archive footage, except for, of course, Peter Capaldi, and they all move differently. I mean, it's just so cool, really. This is my most anticipated part of LEGO Dimensions, is the Doctor Who content. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love every other franchise that's in the game, but to be able to walk around an adventure world as the Doctor, any incarnation of the Doctor, take on his enemies, meet his allies, do quests and all races and all this, and fly around the TARDIS and go in all the interiors and listen to the music, you know, I could go on and on and on about just this franchise alone, because it just makes me so happy to be able to say that it's in the game. And I just wish November would hurry up, because it's such a shame that I have to wait all the way till November just to play with the Doctor Who content, but you know it's going to be well worth the wait. Here we get a really nice look at Kai in, I believe, what looks to be New York. He looks like a really cool character. In the LEGO Ninjago Shadow of Ronin video game, he was one of my favourite characters to play as, and I think he is my favourite ninja in Ninjago, and I believe he comes out this year, but I believe it's like November or something, and he comes in a team pack with Cole, so again, I have to wait a little bit to play as one of the characters I'm really looking forward to playing as, but again, you know, still, it's going to be well worth the wait, and plus, you know, at launch, you have a bunch of stuff to already play with. You're going to have, of course, a starter pack with Batman, Gandalf, and Wildstyle. You could go get the Back to the Future, Portal, or even the Simpsons. And I'm super excited about Simpsons because, of course, open world Springfield. I mean, that is going to be amazing. Here we get a really nice look at Bane, which we've seen quite a few times now, but it's just really cool to see him. And I believe he's actually one of the last characters that's going to be available in Wave 5. So we got to wait quite a long time until we can actually play as Bane. But nonetheless, he looks awesome. It's just so cool to have both versions. You know, you can play as a mini version of Bane, which is a minifigure. And you can play as a big figure and just destroy everything in sight. And of course, you know, he's not the only character that can transform now. We now know about Stay Puft and Unikitty. There's just so much variety, and I'm sure there's lots more to come. And honestly, this is wave 1 through 5. I can't wait to see what wave 6, 7, 8, etc. I can't wait to see what they have planned for this game, because I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And last but not least, this is just a quick thing to mention, but here we can see Batman flying around Gotham City. Now, what's interesting about this is if you look, you can see here that there's a mime in a jet, and it looks like he's actually chasing after Batman. Now, obviously, we know there's going to be enemies on the ground in each adventure world, and they will never disappear even after 100%. So if you ever feel like you just want to go fight some enemies, you'll always have that, which is awesome, because it really pushes the replay value of the game for years, or, you know, just forever, because if there's always enemies to fight, then you're always going to have something to do. And that's what they said. They said they felt that with LEGO Dimensions as adventure worlds, they always wanted you to feel like you had something to do, whether it's capturing ghosts or taking on enemies. And the ghosts never disappear as well if you're into Ghostbusters. So yeah, if you want to just capture ghosts all day, go for it, because you can absolutely do that. Anyway, what's cool about this is it looks like there's going to be enemies not only on the ground, but also in the air. So, you know, maybe this is kind of a tease. Maybe we'll see that in LEGO Marvel as well. I would love to see it if you're flying around as Iron Man, then all of a sudden an Ultron bot comes out of nowhere and you got to fight it. I think that would be kind of cool to have those random events, because we have random crimes in LEGO Marvel, and we have... They're sort of like that in this game as well, because I've seen, you know, you're running around, you might come across maybe an orc or something like that, but it's a little different, you know. I think random crimes are kind of going to be more literally random. You know, you're going to be walking around and then all of a sudden there's going to be a bank robbery or something like that, but with LEGO Dimensions seems a little different. But nonetheless, it's going to be amazing, and to see that there might be enemies in the sky as well as on the ground, that should really make it interesting and very different to what we're used to seeing in the LEGO games. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, like I said at the beginning, the voice cast is absolutely amazing for this game. I mean, you got Gary Oldman, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, J.K. Simmons. I mean, there's just so many incredible voice actors and actresses that are in this game, and that is just so cool to see. And it really shows you how high quality LEGO Dimensions is going to be, you know? When you're playing as Marty McFly, you are Marty McFly. When you're playing as Owen in Jurassic World, you are Owen. And that's just super exciting. And just to think that this game's going to be supported for years to come, that's amazing. Also, one thing I wanted to mention before I finish the video is that they've actually been talking about on Twitter, people have been asking, you know, how is this game going to be supported for years to come? Are we going to need another starter pack or anything like that? Basically, what they've said is there's going to be updates for the game that are going to improve the game and allow you to use future packs. So let's say a pack comes out next year. What they'd have to do is release an update for the game, which is probably not even that big of a file, but even if it is, it doesn't matter. And then once you download that update, you could go out, buy that pack, bring it home, and it would work. And you wouldn't need to buy LEGO Dimensions 2 or something like that. Every pack that's going to come out after 2015 and 2016 will most likely work with this starter pack. And that is amazing and a real guarantee that you don't have to buy a pack, because, you know, the starter pack gives you a lot already, but to think that there's more to come, that's incredible. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.